Hey. There isn't one specific topic. I'm doing a spiritual Q&A. So you can ask me questions about anything really. Life, purpose, relationships, whatever comes to your mind. Thank you, School of Flourishing, welcome. What is my fave show? I don't have a favorite show. I love YouTube. So I don't even have a favorite show on YouTube. I'm really not good with favorites, honestly. I'm always changing around what I'm watching, dipping in and out of different things. Anything to do with spirituality and personal development and the universe, they're my favorite kind of topics. Hey Hugo. My favorite bakery. I don't want to say the name of my favorite bakery. Have you ever had trust issues in a relationship? And if so, how did you overcome them? Yes, I have had trust issues in a relationship. And overcoming them is a journey. It's something that I'm still working through. And so I guess it's all to do with communication and allowing someone to really show themselves to you, show themselves through their patterns and through their behavior over time. Okay, so School of Flourishing. I watched someone last night who was talking from a psychological point of view, how to build a sexual relationship with someone. From a spiritual point of view, how would you look at that? Thank you, School of Flourishing, aka Badger. So how to build a sexual relationship with someone from a spiritual point of view. For me, if you look at the sexual side of things as from a spiritual perspective, the word that comes to mind for me is merging. And so you're merging your soul with someone else, you're merging your energy with someone else. And so, because you're asking me how to build a sexual relationship with someone, and to me that's like, how do you build intimacy with someone? Because intimacy is obviously not just the sexual relationship, it's also the emotional connection and the mental connection that you have with someone. And I think that all ties into how the sexual relationship is going to manifest. So if you guys have really good intimacy in the emotional department and you've been really open with each other, then I think, especially for a woman and for myself, is like you're able to open up a lot more to that person on all levels. And I notice for myself is like, if I don't feel safe, or if I don't feel like I can open up, or my trust has been affected, then that's going to affect the relationship that I have with someone on a sexual level as well. And so I would say that building a really healthy sexual relationship or romantic relationship with someone has to do with trust and the emotional intimacy that you guys have with each other, how much you're able to care for each other, how much you're able to show one another honor and respect is going to feed into the sexual relationship that you have with each other, your ability to actually be intimate with each other and open up with each other fully, because there's a spectrum of how much we're actually opening up, you know, and how much we're actually connecting. And when we're connecting with someone on such a deep level, it's because we've been able to open up all of these different parts of ourselves. And sometimes when it comes to, well, sexual relationships can be very healing, because they bring out parts of us that are being suppressed and we hide away. And so it's like almost like this liberation when we're able to fully open to someone and show that person different sides of us, and it be okay, and it be loved and accepted in the relationship. So that's my perspective on that. Welcome everyone, so good to see you all here today. If you're here, say hello. Okay, someone said, did you end the relationship or were you able to trust? I'm single now. Do you like leather jackets, and do you have one? I do have many leather jackets. Do you know what? My leather jackets have all been passed to me though. I don't buy leather jackets. I wouldn't buy leather, but the ones that I have, people have given them to me. Mostly my nan, because she has really good style and she's a motorbiker lady, so she gives me her biker jackets, luckily. Ramesh said, where am I from? I'm from England. Guys, if you haven't liked the live yet, please like it. There's so many people in here and it will help my channel so much if you are enjoying the live. I'm just gonna go down and see if there's any more questions. Hi Daniel. Hi Missing Summer. Hey Quinn. Okay, School of Flourishing, I agree with all that. It's all about being open and honest, and people see it as a taboo topic to talk about preferences or things intimately that we like, even as basic as hand-holding in public. So talking is key. I agree, and I think that there's so many things in sexuality that are seen as taboo, or things that we would not necessarily want to open up to someone about because things have been frowned upon in, or even just shamed in society. And so finding someone that you can actually share your real self with, to me, is how I'd be able to open up fully in that romantic side of things. Knowing that that person is going to accept these different parts of me. What do you think of thigh-high boots, and do you have any? I don't have any thigh-high boots, but I mean, I think they're cool. Okay, someone said, what should be out first, physical intimacy or emotional? I think it depends on the person, honestly. You know, you've got to go with your intuition and what you're feeling when you meet someone and what your body is saying. Is it a full body yes to be physically intimate? You know, we can cuddle, we can be physically intimate, we can have closeness with someone and touch with someone. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a romantic relationship. So it really depends on what you're comfortable with, what your boundaries are. I don't think it's the same for every person. But when it comes to sex though, I do think it's a very sacred thing for me. I don't think it should be a casual thing, because when we have sex with someone, our energies are our auras are being mixed, and you do create this energetic tie with that person, and so there's an emotional payoff that comes with that. And maybe the more sensitive you are, the more you will realize how it can affect us if we are merging with someone that doesn't actually love us. You know, having that connection with someone that we know cares for us is important. That's my personal opinion. Okay, to give context to my question, I went out for an Italian with a woman. We had a second date, a coffee, picnic, chat, mini golf, another meal. We held hands. She took a photo of us both together. Sounds cute. How did you feel about it? Okay, we've got more. Someone said, oh my God, this is too much. What is too much? Only boundaries are the limits we place on ourselves. Mickey. I don't agree with that. Okay. She then said she didn't feel a physical or sexual chemistry with me, despite there being gentle flirting on text and in person. We connected through hand holding, so she has now agreed to a third date, and I want to increase our chemistry, but not in a weird way. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would take what she said at face value, honestly, and believe her. Okay, hi Z Money. Hey Hussein Sudani from Tunisia. Hey Swap. Seems like a gorgeous day. What's the higher self hinting at? What is your higher self hinting at today? Hi everyone. Greetings. Thank you for the hug. Do you like your hair played with? Yes. Okay, thank you, Siddhant Raj. School of Flourishing. Any advice on what to do for a third date? I don't want to do another meal, so I'm trying to think what I could do that builds team building and encourage us to be in a close proximity. I would honestly go with your gut. Like, what is your intuition saying that you should initially do? You know, you want to do another meal, and that's cool. I'd be careful not to be going into the thought process of like trying to change how she feels or like trying to convince her. I would just be yourself. Like, just whatever you can do that is going to allow you to be at the most relaxed, easy, present with her, just enjoying each other's company, getting to know each other first and foremost. And if that chemistry naturally grows, maybe it will, maybe it won't. And I think it's important to go into it with that openness of, I don't mind what happens, you know? Can you hear me, guys? Do I need to pull this a little closer? Okay, so Swap Your Higher Self said, darkness is so tempting, it's full of mystery. Darkness is the mother of light. Interesting. Kayaking isn't a bad idea. I thought that. Huh. Thank you to Sibal578. Thank you. Okay, School of Flourishing. Amy, I was thinking of taking her out in a pedalo, however you spell it, down at Hyde Park, so we can have time together doing a low intense activity, and it's time for us to talk and bond, maybe. Yeah. I mean, if that's what your intuition is saying to do, then why not? I mean, I think it's a good idea. Sounds fun. The thing is, the way I think about it is like, whatever you do, whatever you choose to do, if you really enjoy each other's company, then that's the most important thing, you know? It doesn't matter so much where you are. When you have a really good connection with someone, you could be anywhere. But also, that being said, if you're a man planning a date, then it's nice to have a little proactivity with it and plan something fun. I guess it's like you also have more knowledge of like what kind of things this girl likes, if you've spoken to her about things before. So yeah, if you have this idea of going on the pedalo, I don't even know I know what you mean, but I don't know if I'm saying the right word. Then yeah, I would go with it. Don't overthink it. Thank you, Coco Blackpink. Chat commands are not working. What does that mean? Can you all hear me okay? Yeah. What do you guys do to help sadness? I struggle with releasing negative emotions. Hard to achieve catharsis. Quinn J. Noble. Thank you for your question. So when it comes to sadness and releasing emotions, something that you need to know is that emotions move when they are given the space and the attention that they are looking for to move. So first of all, a little reminder that the word emotion is literally like energy in motion. So emotions are in motion. But when we resist emotions, they get stuck in the body. And so in order to allow that emotion to flow and move, we have to give it attention. We have to put our consciousness on it. And so what you can do, this is what I do to allow my sadness to move, is I sit with it. And so you want to find where that sadness is in the body. Can you feel it in your body, Quinn? Can you feel whereabouts it is in your body? And if so, if you can feel it where it is in your body, you just want to send your attention there and feel it. Allow it to play out its course of life, its lifespan, because emotions, because they're always moving, you'll notice it moving as you put your awareness on it, because that's what the emotion wants. You think about parts of ourselves that are in pain. They're like different personalities inside of us. And so when one is like screaming for our attention, that's what an emotion is doing. When we're in pain, it's notifying us, I want your attention, I want your love. And so another thing you can do is send your energy to it and say to yourself, I'm completely here with you now. Say to that part of you that is in pain, I'm completely here with you now. And that's something I'll do. I can do this like even when I'm up doing things. Say I feel some anxiety come through or some sadness come through, I will be telling myself, I'm completely here with you now. It's almost like you're holding yourself whilst you're going about your day. Maybe you're resting and you're holding yourself and you're saying, I'm completely here with you now. And just feeling how that sentence feels to send into your body can be really helpful for self-compassion. Because the more we resist or avoid an emotion, what we're doing is we're creating more resistance. If you can think of a part of you that's in pain is in a resistant state already. And so resisting that pain by avoiding it is creating more resistance. And so we just end up creating more and more difficult feelings in our body until we have no choice but to really listen to it. So just allowing yourself to feel it, maybe taking a moment to sit and meditate if that helps you. I'd highly recommend trying it if you haven't tried it before. Doing like a body scan meditation, bring yourself into that feeling. Or you could send your attention elsewhere. You could put your attention on a plant, for example, or on the tree. You could sit with a tree. Imagine that the tree is hugging you. Imagine that you've got the support of nature there hugging you. Just finding ways to send yourself compassion. You're not trying to change the sadness. This is the thing that we usually do, is that we are trying to get rid of our sadness. We're trying to get rid of our pain. But imagine if there was a child that was in pain and you were trying to get rid of the child. That wouldn't make the child feel better. It would make the child feel worse. And so that's what we do to ourselves when we try to get rid of parts of us that are in pain, when we try to avoid feelings. We make ourselves feel worse. It's called self-abandonment. When we try to find ways to get rid of pain. And so instead, allowing that pain to be there, not trying to change it, not trying to judge yourself for being in pain, for being low vibrational. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to bring ourselves out of this state. And the paradox is that when we allow it to be there, that's when it starts to move. If you're feeling a feeling in your body and there's one part of you that's like, oh, why is it still here? Like, why isn't it moving? Then you're just prolonging that process. You have to actually fully come into this state of acceptance. This is why many spiritual teachers talk about surrender. This is the surrender we're talking about. It's a spiritual surrender. Surrender into whatever is alive in your body right now. And a lot of the time when we do this, we gain insight and we gain information. And our higher self is able to understand what it needs to do. Maybe we don't need to do anything. Maybe there's some sort of action that we need to take that we have understood from listening to what is going on inside of our body. And so sometimes just the reminder that it's okay to be sad. And actually, for whatever reason you're sad, or whatever reason you're sad right now is completely normal. And if I don't know what's happened in your life, but I'm pretty sure that anyone that has dealt with whatever it is that's been going on in your life would also be sad if they were in the same situation. And so just giving yourself that grace to be in that state. Okay, Quinn, your heart. I just read that next message that you said that you can feel it in your heart. So your heart is hurting right now. So just maybe putting a hand on your heart. And just telling your heart it's completely okay to feel this way. And I'm completely here with you. Saying that to yourself, I'm completely here with you now. Just relaxing into that feeling. I know it can be really difficult sometimes because we start to become more aware of the pain that is in our bodies, but sometimes we need that reminder that feeling that pain is what's going to heal us, is what's going to make us more aware, raise our self-awareness, going inwards and feeling. Really allow. And also remember as well, when we send our awareness, our consciousness, our stream of consciousness into that area, if your heart is in pain, you're creating more spaciousness in that area. You might also start to notice that there are thoughts connected with the pain that you're feeling. This is really good. You're becoming aware of what you're thinking. I was taking someone through a meditation the other day, and they said to me that when they were doing the meditation, they noticed that they were getting really distracted. And I was saying that this is completely normal. And a lot of people think that they're not good at meditation because they're getting distracted. But actually, this is part of the process. And what's actually happening is that you're becoming aware of your thoughts. And so your self-awareness is increasing. Just because when you're noticing that your mind is busy, that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. That doesn't mean that you're bad at what you're doing. It actually means that you're becoming aware that your mind is busy. And that's okay. One more thing that just comes to me as well before I go on to more questions is that when you start to feel into your body and you start to feel those areas that are in pain, in your case, Quinn, it was your heart, and we start to place our attention on it, we start to create space between the true self and the feeling. So whereas before you may have been completely identified with the feeling, you may have thought, I am that feeling. That's why a lot of people will say, I am sad. But we want to change that sentence to, I am feeling sadness in my body. I am not the sadness. I am simply feeling sadness. And so when we really start to look at it and place our attention on the sadness, we start to create space between I am and the sadness. And so we start to realize that I am not actually this sadness. I am the one observing the sadness. I'm the one that is able to wrap that sadness in love with my awareness to heal myself. And we also start to notice the connection between our feelings and our thoughts. And it's the same thing with our thoughts. Sometimes, a lot of the time, we're so identified with what is going on in our mind. But when we start to observe our thoughts, we start to realize, okay, I can't be my thoughts because I'm observing them. And so the same as observing feelings creates space between the I am, the real self, the deeper self, and the feeling. Observing the thoughts also creates space between us, the I am, the deeper self, and the thoughts. We start to become more aware that we are not our thoughts. Someone said, why are you dressed like that, speaking about pain? The reason I'm dressed like this is because when I looked into my wardrobe, this top jumped out at me and I've never worn it before. And I was like, today's the day that I'm gonna wear that top. And so that's why I'm wearing this. And then as I came onto the live, someone asked me about pain. And so here I am talking about pain in this top. Thank you, Scott Miller. Okay, so someone said, oh, thank you for the ice cream. As far as relationships, why is it that people who have been through trauma always unknowingly find others who have been through traumas? It's made me give up on relationships. Okay, thank you for your question. First of all, every human on this planet has been through trauma to a certain extent. Now, of course, some humans have experienced trauma. So, I lost my train of thought. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hang on. So, as I was saying, what was I saying, guys? Because you said, why is it that people with trauma attract other people with trauma? Well, actually, it's probably very unlikely that you'll ever meet a human that hasn't got trauma and that doesn't have a shadow side and doesn't have unhealed parts of them, because we're all constantly healing. If you're on the spiritual journey, you probably have noticed that the healing doesn't end. Things get better as we become more self-aware, and it gets easier as we start to learn how to deal and how to work with the parts of us that are unhealed or that need healing. And so relationships are a beautiful way to become more aware of the parts of us that need healing. And so, because you said it made you give up on relationships. And so if we are I think it's important for us to know that whenever a part of us is triggered because of something that's happening in a relationship. Also, side note, life is relationships. And I know you're probably talking about romantic relationships. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're talking about romantic relationships. So if we start to like zoom out on life and actually look at how all of life is relationships, we have our romantic relationships, our partnerships, we have our friendships, which are relationships, we have our family relationships, which are also relationships, we have our relationship to God, which is a relationship, we have our relationship to ourselves, we have our relationships to the earth, our relationship, everything is a relationship, guys. Our relationship to our creative projects, our relationship to the animals, our relationship to the food that we eat. And so when you start to look at life like this, you start to see how every single aspect of life, every relationship that we have is reflecting back to us our inner state. And so if we are meeting with someone that has, I'm trying to find the right words to explain this. And so just looking at when we come to a romantic partnership, for example, because romantic partnerships are much like family partnerships, relationships, in where they are able to trigger those parts of us that are really traumatized or like in pain. It's why they're such great teachers, you know? And those relationships that tend to be so painful tend to be the biggest teachers for us, the ones with the most challenges. They bring us into a more higher state of awareness, especially if we are doing the work, when we are engaging in these relationships, noticing what is coming up. I actually have a question for you so that I can maybe answer this better. Is what is it that could you be more specific? Because I'm guessing that what you're asking me is that you have come into relationships and you've noticed that maybe you yourself have been through trauma, and you're also unconsciously or subconsciously attracting people that have also been through trauma. That's what I'm guessing your question is. Could you be more specific on what it is that you have been experiencing? Because usually what's happening is we are experiencing the same patterns with different people. And so what is that pattern that you have been experiencing? When it comes to coming in relationships, what is that thing that you've been experiencing that is putting you off getting into relationships? Because what's happening is these relationships are bringing up a feeling inside of you, and that feeling is being resisted. And that is why you're saying, I don't want to get into a relationship anymore, because you're not fully allowing yourself to feel what it is that those relationships are bringing up. We need to allow ourselves to fully feel what is it that those relationships are actually bringing up for us. Because if we're afraid of feeling what the relationship is bringing up for us, then we're going to be afraid to get into relationships. Okay, let me scroll down. Yes, Quinn said the pain is trying to teach us. Exactly. Okay, is 15-year age difference too big when dating? I don't think so. I think it really depends on the people. I don't know. I don't think so. It can be, but it really depends on who the people are. It really comes down to more like listen to your intuition when it comes to if you're in a relationship with someone. And I wouldn't look so much at the age being the issue. Like, is there other issues in the relationship? Are you compatible, for example? Do you want the same things? Is there chemistry there? Like, are your needs being met? This is the more important thing. Okay, it's so difficult to surrender. Quinn, just a note on that. The feeling that, like, when you are trying to go into that feeling, and you're feeling this pain, that like the resistance to surrendering, let that be the feeling that you are allowing yourself to feel. Whatever is coming to the surface. So if you're noticing a resistance to surrendering, Send your attention to that resistance. Send your attention to that part of you that's saying, I don't want to surrender. Send that part, your attention to that part of you, and say, it's okay. I get it. I'm completely here with you now. You're not forcing anything. You're just allowing yourself to be in that resistance, allowing yourself to feel that part of you that is afraid to surrender, and asking it. You can try to understand that part of you. You can speak to it. You can ask it questions. What is it that you're afraid of? Okay. J8 said, release the built-up pain, better out than in. Nice to meet you, Samriddhi. Okay, Quinn. I appreciate you too, my love. Hope that helped. Okay, the government loves you says, my mind is way too busy. That's okay. Trying to find space in between the thoughts is honestly the best thing you can do. Even if it's 1 second of space, you're starting to build that muscle. Because when you start meditating, you know, the ones of you that already have been meditating probably have noticed this already, is that it's almost like going to the gym, but for your mind. And the more you practice bringing your attention back to the present moment, the more you strengthen that muscle. And so being easy on ourselves when we notice our mind is busy is very important, because the more we judge ourselves for our mind being busy, we're just back in the mind. So we want to just almost laugh at ourselves, just be like, well, I'm like, thank you for the fact that I'm aware that my mind is busy. I feel better already. No lie, you gave me perspective. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Should people get married? Ugh. Anthony Adams, thank you for that question. Me and my friend were literally talking about marriage a couple of days ago. And so what we were saying was, funnily enough, when I grew up, I didn't really get marriage. Even though I have 2 parents that are happily married, and they're still happily married, and I love them to bits. And they are such a good example of a couple. Obviously they have their shadows. Everyone has their shadows, but you know, they've been such a good example to me in so many ways. But even so, I kind of like didn't really get married growing up. I was just like, I'm not that girl that has been like, I can't wait to walk down the aisle, I can't wait to get my wife. I'm just not that person. But funny enough, I am a very romantic person. Like, I really love romance. I love being in a relationship with someone. I love merging souls with someone. And so for me, I think the reason why I started to open up to marriage was because I started to learn the spiritual side of it. Before, growing up in the society that we grew up in, I think I was seeing marriage through that lens of how it is normalized now, which is more to do with like the contract side of things. There's a lot of the spiritual aspects have been kind of taken away, haven't been nurtured in the culture that we live in. And so now that I would see more marriage as like a really special spiritual ceremony, to celebrate the love of two people, to bless the love of two people, and to really pray and set our intentions around the relationship. And so yeah, that's why I think people should get married. Obviously that's my opinion. I don't know about all the other stuff. Something that I need to look into, I guess. I Show Delusions said, I love your outfit. Thank you. Hey, Michael Martin. Okay, Jazzy Production said, Goddess, how are you? What are you doing? I'm great, thank you. I'm good. And what am I doing? I mean, I'm here on live chatting to you guys. Quinn Noble, you said my parents died when I was 9. I have no living family alive. I was infantry in the army and saw experience terrible things. It all makes me feel like I'm not a person sometimes. Thank you for sharing, Quinn. I'm sending you a big hug right now, my love, because that sounds heavy, to say the least. And I just want you to know that it's so important that you give yourself compassion, because anyone that was in your situation would feel the way you do. And so allowing yourself to feel that is so important. Honestly, giving yourself a hug, and every day sending that love to yourself. I know it sounds cliche, guys. It sounds like maybe, you know, all like so love and light, but it's really true. It really is true. Like, we have so much power when we send our attention into our body, and we send our, if you think of your awareness as love. And so when you send that, the light of your awareness into your body, into any areas of yourself that are in pain, these are child parts of ourselves that are in pain. It literally shifts your whole energy field when you do that. Hey, Tim. Okay, guys, I just want to say that I have a couple of, sorry, I've got pins and needles, that's why I'm like making funny faces. I have a couple of spaces open next week for one-to-one. So if anyone is wanting to go deeper into this kind of work and receive some intuitive guidance to really help you to connect with yourself and to find peace, then please do send me an email. My email is hello@amylouisesamp.com. It's in the bio of my YouTube channel. And so, yes, we still have a couple of spaces open for next week. And so if that's something that you want to do or you're feeling called towards, then please do send me an email. And I do a free discovery call, so we can have a chat 15 minutes. It's like no commitment, honestly, just finding out if it's something that is going to be in alignment for you, that we can work together. Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he has created on earth? No, I don't think that at all. I think that, God is all around us. I think that God is the one that has dreamed up this experience, and we as we are the forms that have been manifested from the mental images, the imagination of God. And so I don't think that God is in fear. I think that God is pure love. And so God and love are synonyms. And fear is just anything that has forgotten its true essence of love. Anything that is a distortion, an illusion. Okie dokie. Is it, okay, someone said, is it the intervention of Satan and our bad deeds that impediment our relationships? Okay. Oh. So if you think of everything as coming from thought forms, right? Everything in the universe is energy. Thoughts are energy. And so all thoughts, being energy, they hold a certain vibration. And some thoughts are vibrating at the energy of love. Let's say there was a scale, right? And at the highest point it's love, it's pure love. And at the lowest vibration, it is the most densest, it is fear. And so if you are in alignment, if you're thinking thoughts that are in alignment with love, then you're going to be attracting more thoughts that are in alignment with love. If you are thinking thoughts that are in alignment with the vibration of fear, then you're going to be attracting more thoughts that are in the vibration of fear. But also what you've got to remember is our subconscious is made up of many, many different beliefs. And some of these beliefs are high vibrational beliefs. Some of these are loving beliefs about ourselves. But a lot of these beliefs are limiting beliefs and that are based in fear. And so as we are engaging with other people, what's happening is as we interact, our energy fields are mixing. And let's say someone else has a very fearful belief, a belief in their subconscious that is wrapped in shame, that is dark. When they express this, maybe they express it unknowingly, this is going to trigger a part of us. It could trigger a part of us that is at the same vibration. So if someone else expresses something that is shame, wrapped in shame, then it may bring up something in us that is also wrapped in shame. And so when you say about Satan, so for me, Satan is a symbol. It's a symbol for those entities, or that like demons, I guess. Because I think Satan, do you know what? I don't actually fully know what Satan is compared to demons. Like I don't really know what the difference is. But when I look at this, I'm thinking of like demonic entities. And so I'm thinking about how thoughts are entities. And so it's really about understanding like what thoughts are we feeding. And so what happens is if we are interacting with someone and they have this shame belief that is activated in their body, in their aura, and they are, you might notice this when you're around people, and if there's people that have a lot of shame, they tend to kind of like spill that out and shame others. And so this is why when we're not very conscious, we can also get pulled into this shame. And maybe we start to also act unconsciously in ways that express this shame, hiding parts of ourselves, or also shaming others, judging others, judging ourselves, feeling like we can't be ourselves in front of others. And so as we become more aware, as we become more conscious, and as we look at what is coming up inside of us, we start to notice that, okay, maybe there's a part of me that's being triggered because someone else is expressing this this vibration of shame. And so someone said, is it Satan, our bad deeds, that impediment our relationships? It's not so much that they are impediment our relationships, it's our unconsciousness around them. That's why it's so important to be able to look at the darkness within us, not to run from it. Because the minute we try to resist something that is within us that is dark, we actually give that part of ourselves more power. Sounds very paradoxical, but the minute we look at it and we accept, okay, there's a part of me in right now that is arising, that is wanting to attack or wanting to act out in some way. If we can look at that and we can see it for what it is, then we can choose a more high quality action. And so you don't want to give power to, this is why I think it's important within these systems to not be afraid of the demons, to be afraid of Satan. There's a lot of fear mongering around. If like you have demons, then like it makes you almost feel afraid. But the truth is we all have demons. Every single human has demons. Demons are just they're thoughts. It's a certain vibration of thought. Demons are parts of ourselves that we have pushed down. And so as they've been pushed down, they have started to come out of the light. They become dark because they're not getting the love. And like I was saying earlier, awareness is love and light. And so when we push a part of ourselves away, we push it further and further into the spaces that have no love and light. They have no awareness. And so these parts of us, they become these darker entities. They are parts of us that are lacking love. And so we don't want to be afraid of those parts of ourselves. They simply just want attention. They simply just want to express, but the way that they express is an unconscious way. And so when something is being expressed in an unconscious way, it's likely to be lower quality. It's likely to be harmful to others around us or to ourselves. And so back to the question and answering that question, it's not the darkness that is ruining the relationships. It's the lack of awareness of our darkness. It's the suppressing of our darkness. It's the avoidance of the darkness. That's what causes the issues in the relationships, or not causing the issues in the relationships, but that's what destroys relationships. Avoiding parts of us that are in pain. And that's like also what you would say is like we have these internal conflicts because if we're pushing a part of us away, then we're no longer a whole being. We're fragmented. We're pushing, like, do you see what I mean? It's like we're pushing parts of us further and further away. So we become very fragmented. We become very conflicted inside, because we're telling ourselves, this part of me is not okay. This part of me can't be expressed. This part of me can be expressed, and this part of me is okay. And this part of me is not shameful, but this part of me is shameful. And so we're walking around not whole, believing that certain parts of us are shameful. And then we project this out onto others. And then also when someone else projects something out onto us, those parts of ourselves that we pushed away become triggered. And you can see this as an opportunity. You can start to see every relationship in your life, every time you become triggered, you can start to see that as an opportunity to become more aware of a part of you that you have pushed away. The more triggered you are becoming, the more opportunity there is to bring a part of you to the surface and to love it back into wholeness. That's why we shouldn't fear darkness. Okay. School of Flourishing says, I have to go now. I'll catch you soon. Bye. Thank you for being here. Angel Boy 444, nice to see you again. I'm going through that as well right now. Thank you. What are you going through as well? You make me feel good. Oh, thank you. What does your eye necklace mean? Funnily, you ask me this right now. Thank you for asking, because I was thinking this as I put it on. I was thinking about how this is like, to me, this is symbolizing it's God. It's the one consciousness that shines through everyone. And you could, see this as it's the third eye. It's the one awareness. So maybe in our form we have two eyes, but as we go inwards, we actually have one eye. We have the eye that is the I. The I am. And so this is the I am, the one I. The consciousness that flows through all things. Source. The source of creation. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you, my love. Have a great day. Thank you, Joy Forever 111. Okay, someone said, I'm currently researching performative self-presentation in digital real-time environments. Interesting. One quick question, why are you streaming? And what do you think it will do for society? Thank you for that question. The reason why I'm streaming is because it actually goes back to, I started doing YouTube by making long form videos. So the whole reason I started doing this, okay, first of all, is because I love talking about spirituality. And so for me, it's an outlet. It's a creative outlet to speak about what I've learned. Thank you so much for your donation, my love. I'll get to, I don't know if there was a question linked to it, but we'll get there. So yeah, I love to, it's a very important part of my life is to speak about this stuff. It's just something that my soul, like if I'm not doing this, there's a part of me that feels like it's not quite living. It's like there is this part of me that just has to express. Like I really love, it's so much joy for me to talk about these things and to also share what I've learned with other people. It just gives me so much joy. So that is one reason. Okay, the reason why I'm live streaming is because I got the intuition in March to live stream, because I was doing a lot of long form videos. I'd been doing that for a couple of years, had the intuition to live stream. As I started to live stream, I realized that this is where I truly feel more myself. I love to live stream because, for one, I can chat with people in real time about these topics. And so when people ask me questions, it triggers images in my mind and it gives me inspiration. So I love the whole setup of live streams. I just feel like it's such a good way to build community. It's such a good way to connect with other people that are also interested in these topics. Another reason why I like to live stream, and so for you, the next question as well, this feeds into what do you think it will do for society? I've had many messages from people saying that this helps them. Something I've said has shifted their perspective. Something I've said has made them feel better, that they have become more self-aware, that they've been opened up to spirituality more through the conversations that we have. And so that is something that really drives me. And yes, what do I think it will do for society? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I hope that the things that I'm saying, my intention, before I come on, I always say a prayer. My intention is to allow for whatever words need to come through, for whoever needs to hear this. And my intention is to bring more empowerment onto the planet, more inspiration and encouragement and love for anyone that needs to hear that. And so that's what I hope. And I trust that that is happening. And that's all I can do is trust, you know? And if things land, then they land. If they don't, then that's okay. I have to just do what my inspiration, my intuition is guiding me to do. And that's how I live my life. And it's working really well so far. The more I listen to my intuition, the more rich my life becomes. And I don't mean in a monetary sense. I mean in every sense. The things that I truly value: connection, community, creativity, freedom, all of these things, I listen to my intuition and my values are being fed into more and more and more. And so that's why I love to talk about intuition. I love to talk about really listening to your higher self, because yeah, that was a long-winded way of answering your question. I hope that helped. Okay, Bryce Future said, I love your dancing. Thank you, my love. Yes, we be dancing. Thank you so much for your donation again. Oh. Okay, let me go down because I feel like I have missed so many. Okay. I'm back at I'm just letting the comments flow now because I was like stuck up somewhere where I had paused for a moment. Thank you, Big Nook. Nice to see you again. Belly dance oriental. Do you have tattoos? No. I do want to get some, but I'm being patient with it. Let us get to these vibrations. What vibrations? Thank you, Justin. New sub. Thank you, my love. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to support, please do. It will really help my channel to get sent out to more people, so I appreciate it. You've got a superb voice, thank you. If you don't have tattoos now, you never will. Actually, I don't think that's true. I think I'm gonna get a tattoo. I don't know, I want to get like a little symbol. I want to get, I actually saw this symbol today, this little Celtic symbol that I really liked. So I wouldn't mind getting something like that. I kind of like the, I like the sacred geometry tattoos, but I wouldn't want to get like a full sleeve. That would be too much for me. I'd have to really look at what I like. I'm also a little bit scared of the pain, not gonna lie. I don't love needles. Okay. Fayaz Qureshi. These vibrations you talk about seem to be overwhelmed between male and female. What do you mean by that? Can you explain? Justin, maybe you needed to sit down. Brightest future. I waited till I was older to get my tats. Yes. I really want to get something that is like, you know, I've wanted for years, because then I know that it's like not just some spur of the moment thing. Sat on the floor. Nice. He who kisses the joy as it flies away lives in eternities of sunshine. I will share your channel with my friends. Amazing, thank you. How many of you guys speak to the universe? if you speak to the universe, if you have conversations with the universe, put a 1 in the chat. Justin, how long will I have to sit? I don't know. You have to sit until your intuition tells you it's time to get up. Nothing is promised to us forever except death. True. You do live daily. I don't go live daily. I usually go live around 3 times a week. I've been getting tattoos since I was 16. Nice. Ah, okay. 3 people said 1. Okay, Justin, come on. Okay, more people saying 1. Cyrus, I don't date people on my YouTube, okay? How long am I sitting? Just curious. Sit as long as you want. Do you think the world was a better place before the internet? No. Not, well, I feel like in some ways the internet is like such a blessing. You know, obviously it has its, you gotta think about it, guys, like we're like the first humans to ever use it. Like that's crazy to think. Like the fact how it is ingrained into our life so much, and we're like the first humans like testing it out. Think how many mistakes we're actually gonna make. But we have to learn from our mistakes. We have to learn to use the internet for the betterment of humanity, for the harmony of the planet. At the moment, we're clearly using a lot of technology to destroy our relationship with the planet, to destroy our relationship with each other. It's highlighting a lot of things. It's amplifying our state of consciousness because we're able to see so much of the unconsciousness of humanity through what is going on the internet, through the comment section, through just people's posts. You can really see like where our state of consciousness is at from what kind of things we engage in, what kind of things we put our energy into. And we have to learn how to use these things. At the moment, we're using them like babies. We're literally babies using the internet. We're babies spiritually. We're literally we're baby humans right now. Our species is like at such a early stage of spiritual development. Okay, someone said, you say universe, what about trying to befriend the one who made the universe? I think everything is a manifestation of consciousness. So I think universe, God, source, creator, same thing for me. Okay, someone said, what is the secret of discipline? Being in alignment. Being in alignment is the secret. Noticing when there's a part of you that is in resistance to doing what it is that you have set out to do. If there is a part of you that is in resistance to doing what it is that you've set out to do, then you need to get that part of you out of a state of resistance. You need to get it back in alignment. When we are in full alignment, then there is no part of us that is in resistance to doing what it is that we want to do. And so we have full universal energy backing our actions. Have you been to Bondi Beach? No, I haven't. Yes, Cyrus says yes, agree, but we're all getting there. Some of us at different levels. Yeah, we're at different levels. And we're definitely on our way. Waking up, some of us. But I think our spiritual divine potential is so much more. Amy, why are we floating in this never-ending space on a blue rock? I don't know. To learn? To experience? To express? To journey? The ocean and space is all a part of our own body called eternity. Okay, someone said, how bad do you really want it? I think that's also a thing with discipline. I think you can look at it from different angles, because I would try to understand why you're not being disciplined. And also, one thing that has helped me a lot with being disciplined is praying, setting the intentions to be disciplined. For example, I might do, if I notice that there's something that I really have been resisting, like say it's going to the gym, for example, and it's something that I want to be more disciplined in, then I will do a ritual or like a little ceremony and pray and set my intentions around being disciplined with the gym. And then noticing, why am I not being disciplined with the gym? What is the part of me that is in resistance to not being in discipline with the gym? Or what is it that my subconscious is more focused on? Am I more devoted to comfort, for example? Am I more devoted to creativity? Am I more devoted to being social? What is it that I am not, that I'm more devoted to? And how can I be more devoted to that thing that I want to be disciplined with? How can I bring that more into my subconscious to be more disciplined with that? Hi from Scotland, what's happening? Hey, Mark Johnson from Scotland. Hi, good afternoon. How are you? You're beautiful and you have such beautiful eyes. Thank you, William. I'm well. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Fayaz. So what's happening? We're doing a Q&A. Mystical Q&A. Justin, I'm not engaging in these games. Okay? You can do what you want. What's your favorite type of pet? I love dogs. I love cats, I love dogs, but dogs have a special place in my heart because I have had so many dogs. Hi, J8. Okay. Don't gatekeep your wisdom. I don't gatekeep my wisdom. I literally come onto live and just talk. Hey, Betty. Betty girl. Vacation in Las Vegas or on a Caribbean cruise? Caribbean cruise. I've already been to Vegas. I've never been to the Caribbean. Betty, come. What you got? Okay, guys. She loves it when I throw the ball, so. Okay. What questions you want if it's a Q&A? You can ask me questions about anything to do with life, purpose, relationships, manifestation. Maybe there's something in your life that you are struggling to create, to manifest, to call in. You could ask me about that. What is the biggest challenge in your life right now? Usually we're all going through some sort of challenge. So there might be something that you want to ask and that you want to get some intuitive guidance on. Anything. Something that you want to understand about yourself more, we could go into that. Hang on. At night when we dream, it's our inner observer warning and bringing us up on well-needed information. Sometimes it yells at us to wake us up. Tony. Right? I also think we're really processing everything in our subconscious when we're dreaming, and it's so symbolic, and we can learn so much about ourselves by doing dream interpretations. Spiritual questions, awesome. Yeah. Yes, the Deadeye 111. Would you rather marry a rich man who's average looking or an average man who is very handsome? What? A rich man or an average, like, it really doesn't, I don't know, like, there's so much more to it than that. What do you think about superhuman abilities? I have super strength among other things. Lol, serious question. What do I think about superhuman abilities? I think that we all have psychic abilities, and because we don't practice them enough, our skills aren't at the highest level at the moment. But if we actually were taught about our psychic abilities, then we would be way further along, because we would actually have like classes. Like, imagine if in school we were actually taught how to improve our psychic skills. I'm gonna do that one day. I'm definitely gonna have a psychic school, and we're already doing it. Honestly, like, a lot of the work I do is helping people to open up their psychic faculties, their intuition. Intuition is a psychic faculty. And so the imagination realms, I don't know, I lost my train of thought a little bit, but those realms that we can all be working on, we're all becoming more psychic, we're all becoming more intuitive as we open up the sphere of the emotions in relationships. All of this stuff is becoming more complex for humans. And so, yes, superhuman abilities, like so many spiritual abilities that we have that we haven't actually worked on, like telekinesis. Where are you from? I mean, your genes? Like, are you asking me where I'm from, as in, like, where are my ancestors from? Oh. Okay, first question. How do you feel me as a being? In shape, color, thoughts, good intentional in being or not? Like, everything comes to your mind from me. Thank you. The first thing that pops into my head, hair, is like, in terms of your physical appearance, is that you have short, dark hair. Tell me if that's correct or not. And I don't really know. In terms of shape, color, thoughts. What's your name? Looks or money? I mean, looks are something that fade. You know? It's all about really the connection that you have with someone, and that's what makes them attractive to me. Their energy, their aura, their presence, their ability to be grounded, to be like self-assured. I love all that. Having just money is not enough. Having just looks is not enough. You know, someone can have loads of money, but if the aura isn't there, if the presence isn't there, then I'm not going to be so attracted to them. Same with looks. How can someone get out of the void that is seemingly endless? What is there to do? Are you saying, okay, so what you want to do is you want to feed the void, because the void is this emptiness. So if you want to look at it like, let's say you have needs that are not being met, you want to start filling the void by filling in those needs. And so if you have a need for social connection, you need to fill that need. That's how we start filling the emptiness inside of us. Start actually doing things, taking action in ways that is going to fill that emptiness. Okay. Really go into the void as well. So wherever you're feeling that emptiness in your body, you want to go into it and listen to what it is that part of you is saying. when you go into it. It might feel very painful. It might feel very uncomfortable. You might feel very restless, like you don't want to sit with it because it's an uncomfortable, painful thing. But like, just know that when you do this, it's going to be a very fruitful practice to take, is to really feel into that empty space inside of you and understand, what is this empty space? What is this empty space wanting to be filled with? How can I fill that empty space in my life? What does it want? And then act on those things, act on those intuitions that you get, those insights that you get. Start to become creative with ways that you can fill that void. If you have an empty void because you haven't been acting on your creativity enough, then you want to start acting on your creativity enough. It's like, it really comes down to what it is that you personally are feeling empty of. It's going to be a need, something that you really value, that your soul came here to experience, that you're not currently acting on. And why am I not acting on this? Is there fear that is holding me back from really acting on this? I'm just playing fetch whilst I do this because Betty loves playing fetch. Okay. Yes, please, I need to practice. As a psychic, do you think demons exist? Okay, look. We are all psychic, guys. Okay, yes. For me, I've definitely open myself up to the psychic realms more. I'm also very Piscean. I have so much Pisces in my chart, so I'm more I have more inclination to learn about the psychic realms. I have more desire, probably to not more desire, but like I definitely have those inclinations to open myself up to those realms. You know, a lot of you guys probably do as well, because you're on this live. You wouldn't want to sit here listening to about it if you didn't have some interest in it. And so I do believe that we are all connected to the psychic realms. Some people are more interested. Some people want to develop their skills in those areas. Just like some people, you know, we're all able to, you know, if we really wanted to, learn about maths. But some of us don't want to learn about maths. Like me, I'm just not really interested in learning about maths. So I'm never going to be the best mathematician. Okay? And so, but with that being said, someone that is really into maths but not into psychic abilities, they're still going to have some sort of intuition, and that intuition is going to feed their math, their maths doing. You know, it's like everyone has their intuition, their inner compass. Do I think demons exist? I was talking about this earlier. Demons are, they're entities that are thoughts. Everything comes from thought. And so yes, you have demonic entities, but they are thoughts of a certain vibrational frequency, of a certain density, with a lack of love and a lack of awareness. Okay, the Deadeye, short, dark, brown, more metaphysical. Okay, was I right about your hair? More metaphysical. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like, I don't know. Can you feel people's energy when you meet them? Yeah, of course. I think we all are subconsciously feeling people's energies when you meet them. It's just how sensitive you are to because you're going to feel in your body when you're around other people's energy field. You know, our aura is extending out, and also the way that we are expressing is giving a lot of information of what is on the internal. And so your intuition is getting all of this information, psychic sensing. You're sensing with all your senses and noticing these subtle things in the way someone's moves, what people choose to say, the way that someone's expressing, what they're withholding, is going to give you information, and subconsciously we are gathering this information around the person. But yes, I can feel people's energies because I feel my own, because I'm practicing a lot, feeling into my own body. That's how we feel. Our body is like telling us, giving us information all the time. What kind of dogs do you have? We have a Cocker Spaniel. Okay, Gregory, you can send me an email if you want to do one-to-ones. My email is in the bio in my profile. Have you ever made out or had a relationship with someone you just met without going through dating or getting to know each other, know the person? What do you mean? Had a relationship with someone without getting to know them? No. So I should avoiding the void. Yeah. No, don't avoid anything. You want to go into it. When we avoid the void, it makes the void bigger. Are you familiar with the violet flame? Oh my god, the Deadeye. It's so funny because when you asked about colours, I literally thought of purple in my mind, but I didn't say it. And I was like, I don't even know if to... I should have just trusted myself and, you know, whether you believe me or not, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know what you were going to say about the violet flame anyway. I don't usually do like this kind of reading, you know. Does every person have a potential twin flame, or is it just a spiritual construct which doesn't really exist? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't really think in terms of like twin flames and stuff like that. I think it's definitely a construct. I think it's obviously, it's a way that like something humans have created to describe a certain relationship, but I don't really, like, it doesn't compute in my mind. It doesn't really resonate with me. Like, what is a twin flame? Like, you have a lot of chemistry with that person. Usually they describe it as a relationship where you have a lot of like karmic patterns with that person. A lot of like attachment with them as well. I don't think it's really helpful to even think about these things. I think that can be honestly just get us more into like bypassing the actual information that we are meant to be seeing. If we attach this identity onto this relationship as it being a twin flame relationship, are we less likely to like, are we more likely to put up with stuff that we wouldn't put up with if we thought of it in that way? Maybe. I don't really ever put those kind of labels on the relationships that I have. I think either there are healthy relationships or there are unhealthy relationships. There are happy relationships or there are relationships that don't feel good. There are relationships that feed our soul, that feed our that feel encouraging, that feel nourishing, that feel like love, that feel supportive. And then there are relationships that don't. There are relationships that can feel, and every relationship with someone can change, and you can have a relationship that is unhealthy turn into a healthy relationship. And that is going to be a lot to do with how good your boundaries are and what you're willing to say yes to, and what you're willing to say, what you'll say yes and no to. And so I don't really think in terms of, is this person my soulmate? Is this person, like, I do think, for example, there are people that have been in my life where I felt a really strong soul connection. And I do think that we are in some capacity soulmates, because I can feel like I've had really met them before, or feel familiar with them, or stuff like that. And I have such a strong connection with them. They feel like family to me, but it's not so much like, oh my God, this person is my soulmate, I need to be with them forever, or whatever, you know? And maybe we have like, our soul is connected with someone in the spiritual realm, in the heavens, but yeah, you get me? When you meet men, do you believe they are attracted to your psychic knowledge, or do they run away, given that you are beautiful? You have a massive advantage. I don't know if men are attracted to my psychic knowledge. Maybe. Depends on the person, I guess. If they're interested. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Do they run away? It depends if someone's like really wanting to look at what it is that, like, their shadows and stuff. Because if they just want to avoid things, they're probably going to run away from me. Because I'm not one to avoid things. So it's going to be very confronting. But if someone wants to grow and someone wants to have a transformative relationship, then I think that that'll be a good thing for them. How do you think your spiritual skills developed? Did you suffer, or do you have a lot of trauma which triggered it? Okay, thanks for your question, Carlos. So my spiritual skills developed because, for one, meditation. I'm very, very consistent with meditation, and I have been for like the last 10 years, and that has increased my level of like psychic awareness and say psychic immune system, because I have learned how much I'm able to really be aware of what it is that I'm thinking about, the energy that I am, like what I'm feeding into, feeding with my energy, and also how other people are affecting my energy, what I'm thinking, and all that stuff. So it's all developed, honestly, just from practicing and having this mindset of wanting to become aware of whatever I'm not aware of. And also creativity has also developed my spiritual skills, because I use my energy on creative projects all the time. And so I'm practicing with my imagination all the time. And I think that the imagination is a spiritual skill. When we practice out, that's why I think kids are so imaginative, because they're so close to the veil. When they first come in, they have less limits, they have less like conditioning. And so I really do, and when I'm meditating, I am engaging with my imagination, and it's all linked. Did I suffer? Yes, I have suffered a lot, just like every human on the planet. You can't really be a human and not suffer. And there's been a lot of things that have pushed me into wanting to work on myself, because I was suffering a lot when I was a kid, and I was feeling really alone and isolated and desperate for connection, and I suffered a lot through that. And I started to meditate, and that started to help me. And so yeah, I continued on that journey. I love your videos. Thank you. Amy, is it possible for one to permanently be stuck in the dream world? Yes. I think that, I mean, permanently, I don't know, because I think they'll always awaken out of it at some point. But I think a lot of humans are lost in a dream. That's what it means to be unconscious, is to be lost in the dream. Identified with whatever it is that your mind is dreaming up. Like, we might be in a certain situation, for example. Let's say someone didn't text us back, but our mind is dreaming up all of the reasons why they didn't text us back. How we are not good enough because of this situation is happening. What are all the reasons that we're not lovable, all the reasons that this person is doing what they're doing, that they, maybe we think that they have realized that we are ugly, or that they have, we start to like, this is all the dream, this is the mental dream that we get stuck in. It's all the illusion that the mind creates. And sometimes we have intuition and we can feel that something, we might have an actual intuition that's happening, we might be right about something, but the mind tends to create a lot of stories all day. And that's why it's important to come back to the present moment, because that's where the truth is. How do you know that you have a soul? I think it's just a sense, like just sense that I am the soul. But this is not, like this is not permanent, this body. Just observing nature. This is not, this form is not gonna be around forever. But the soul is. The soul is the infinite part. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, last question. Elimination ego or tame and control it? Can we control it? I don't think that we need to eliminate the ego. I think the ego is something that is teaching us. It's a learning device, is what it says in A Course in Miracles. And it is not necessarily something that we want to control. We don't want the ego to be in control. We want to be in the driver's seat. We want to be able to observe the ego, observe our human form, observe our conditioning, observe the thoughts that the ego has, and refine them. Understand where they are coming from. What is the purest expression? How can we use the ego for the benefit of humanity? Have you seen a UFO? One time I did. I don't know what it was. I guess it was an unidentified. You're welcome. Did I? Hey Jack. Nice to see you. Thank you. You like the setup? Ah, Alex. You guys coming in at the same time. Bye, Angel Boy 444. I like your vibe. Oh, thank you, my love. Glad. You look like your father. You don't know my father, do you? How are you doing, sis? I'm doing well, thanks, Alex. How are you? What's my father's name, if you know him? What's that a ball for? I'm just playing with it, fiddling. This crystal is meant to be really good for grounding, so I just wanted to hold it. I'm good, thank you. Just annoyed with football. Oh dear. I'm glad I don't have to get annoyed at football. I'm not interested in it at all. No, my dad's name is not Thomas. Okay, guys, does anyone have any more questions around what we've been talking about today? Spirituality, life purpose. Anything that you are currently finding is a challenge in your life, anything that you want to manifest. We can talk about manifestation. I love talking about manifestation. So if there's anything that you really want in your life that you have been struggling to bring about, or that you feel like you just, like maybe you have a dream. What is that dream? Oh, you're a coach. Okay, cool. If you want to see me dance, you have to follow me on Instagram, because I occasionally upload dance videos onto Instagram. Paul, you have difficulties with meditation. Okay, what are the difficulties that you have? Okay, when is purpose reintroduced in one's life after losing complete interest in life and human tasks? I think it's important to ask yourself, what is it that I actually care about? Like, start contemplating that. Because a lot of the time when we've lost interest, we've like forgotten what we truly care about. Okay, Paul, I can't seem to stop my thought. Okay, well, that's normal, Paul. When it comes to meditation, stop trying to stop your thought. I know it sounds like funny, because it's like we're always told how it's like we're meant to be having no thoughts, right? Or maybe you think meditation is just having no thoughts. It's not about having no thoughts. It's about becoming more aware of your internal world. And so if you are watching yourself having a very busy mind, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just becoming more aware of your busy mind. And so allow yourself to be aware of your thoughts. Stop trying to stop them. Just watch them. See if you can create space in between your thoughts. Like taking a deep breath, focusing on your breath, and then maybe having a tiny bit of space in between your thoughts. And maybe that space will start to grow as you practice consistently. But don't just try to stop your thoughts, and don't judge yourself when you're having thoughts, because then you're back in the mind. Okay. Can you help me manifest becoming a manager? Alex, Red Devil. Hey Taron, nice to see you. So, manifest becoming a manager. What have you done so far to manifest becoming a manager, Red Devil? My absolute dream is to manage Manchester United. Okay, cool. So, I thought you meant a manager, like just a general manager. I didn't know what you meant, but now I get what you mean, like a football manager. What have you been doing so far for this manifestation? He's not kidding. We can absolutely manifest that. Look, I honestly think that whatever your soul wants to do, you have to go in the direction of that thing. No matter how crazy it might seem to someone else. It doesn't matter. We have to do things in spite of everyone else's limiting beliefs. Because even the journey towards doing that thing is going to bring you so much expansion. That's what your soul really wants, is the expansion that comes with going towards your desires. That's why we have desires, so that we can grow as souls. That's why whenever you reach a goal, you don't feel satisfied with that reaching that goal. You've already manifested more desires. No matter where you get in life, you already have, like, the goalpost continues to move. Because it's not about where we're, like, the actual, you know, it sounds so cliche, but it's literally so true about the, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So pick what you want to do, go towards that thing, and that journey is going to create so much expansion in your, for your spiritual journey. I look up to, like, Jose Mourinho. He's not been a professional player and he's won the Champions League, and I want to do that. So if we look at this from, like, the perspective of a teacher like Neville Goddard, for example, someone that I love to learn about the law of attraction through. He's a great teacher, and some things that I've learned from him in regards to manifestation are if there's something that you want, there's something that you desire, you need to visualize and you need to imagine yourself having already, like, you're living from the state of already being that person. And so every night before you go to sleep, Alex, imagine what you would feel like. Like, find a little scene, okay? Imagine a little scene, like, for example, you being on the side of the pitch for a big game and you are the manager. You want to imagine that scene. Let's say, like, someone just scored and you're cheering. Like, you want to imagine that scene and just continue to play it over and over again in your mind as you fall asleep. And it doesn't need to be, like, I do this throughout the day, and I also do this before I go to sleep, and I do this when I wake up. It's a really good time to do it before you go to sleep, because, thank you for the gift, J-Man, because it is when your subconscious is the most impressionable, just as we're drifting off to sleep. So before you go to bed, put yourself in that state of already having that thing that you are wanting to create in your life. And the most important thing, Alex, is that you feel like it is real. You want to play it out in your mind. Like, it feels so real that when you open your eyes, it's almost like you forget that you were in that imagination because it felt so real. So you come back to real life and you're like, oh, well, that felt so real. And so we want to do that. So you can replay a scene that has, you could even, some really good ways to get yourself into this feeling is you can imagine yourself like talking to the players or something. You can imagine yourself saying to someone, I finally got the job, my dream job. Like you can, like whatever scene imprints this feeling of that you have achieved this into your brain, into your body. You know, you celebrating, for example, getting that job that you want. You can choose one scene and then play it over and over in your mind as you drift off to sleep. And then what starts to happen is as we start to believe that we are experiencing this, our subconscious starts to bring up all these different ideas and inspirations that are linked to that version of ourselves. And so then we start to get ideas of actions that we can take. And the most important thing that you do, Alex, is that you act on these inspirations. So visualization is one part of it, imagining yourself to be already that version of yourself that has achieved that thing. And then acting on the inspiration that you get from that version of yourself. Yes, that's perfect, Alex. Exactly. So keep practicing that every day. And trust as well that this will manifest for you. Or even if it doesn't manifest exactly the way that you are wanting it to manifest, trust that the way that it manifests is going to be that's all in God's hands. That is all in the hands of the universe. All you need to do is trust and feel like you have already achieved it. And then the external realms will start to shift to mirror back to you your internal state. Holding up the shirt with my name on it and things like that. Yes. So manifestation is purely psychological, nothing supernatural. So the word supernatural, right? If you actually just break it down, it's the natural. It's the super, like it's literally just saying supernatural. So anything that is natural. So I would say that psychological phenomena is also natural. It's a natural human thing, right? Manifestation is anything that is manifesting from thought. And whether you believe that thought is spiritual or not, I do. I believe that thoughts are starting in the spiritual realms, the imagination realms, and so is the psychological phenomena. It's all connected. Yes, Alex. And also having patience. When we have faith, our patience is going to increase because we already know it's going to happen. We already, like, you want to get to the point where there's no resistance. Okay, so when you're visualizing this thing, you might notice parts of yourself that come up during the day that are in resistance, that are in opposition to the thing that you want to manifest. So if we haven't manifested something yet, it's because we have parts of us that are in resistance to that manifestation. And so you want to work on those parts of you that are in resistance. So if you have, for example, a part of you that comes up that is in fear, that is saying this is not going to work, or that is saying I am not going to be successful, this part of you is going to be pulling you back from taking the action that you want to take. You want to work with those parts of you that don't believe that this is going to manifest. And you want to really question those parts of you that don't believe it. You want to break them down into their, like, refine and understand them to their deepest root. Ask them questions. Use your intuition to understand where it's coming from that they don't believe that they're going to be successful. And that's just one example of a part of us that could be holding us back, is this fear that we're not going to be successful. Maybe you have a fear that you will be successful, and that part of you is trying to stop you from taking the action, because what is it that you are associating with success? There could be all these different reasons why we have resistance to the manifestation. And so it's closing the gap. It's becoming that the version of you that has achieved this goal hasn't got resistance to achieving this goal because it's already existing in that state. And so right now there's a version of you that is, there's a gap between those versions of you. And so we want to bring ourselves closer to this version by letting go of anything that is not in alignment with this version. Does that make sense? One of the things I have is because I'm young, I'm 18, so most managers start like early 30s, so I have all that time to gain experience. Yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely do it, Alex. I have full faith. Learn from the ones that have already done it, how they got there. What is their mindset like? You know, you can find evidence as well. A lot of the time when it comes to what we're trying to manifest is because we have these beliefs that are in contradiction to what it is we're trying to manifest. And so what you want to do is start building evidence for yourself to believe that it can happen. No doubt, even if I get the job, I'll get sacked after 2 months. That's a belief that is... Do you actually believe that? Is that actually true? Okay, guys, if you haven't liked the live, please can you like it? We get to 100 likes. It'll help my channel a lot. Thank you. I would really question as well, like if you have this belief of I'm going to get sacked, I would try to figure out why, because there might be important information within that belief that you need to know. For example, if you have this belief and it's connected to this piece of information of that you're not like punctual enough, for example, you can ask yourself, is this actually true? And if there is some truth in it, then maybe that's something that you want to work on yourself, you know? So there's always a really important information that we can get when we start looking into things. Football humor that we didn't understand. Also, Alex, ask the universe for guidance. Okay, guys, I need to go feed the dog and feed myself. I'm so hungry. I need to cook and I can't be bothered. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up the energy and I'm going to make a nice big healthy meal, and maybe I'll come on live later. Who knows? I never usually go on live twice in one day, but we'll see. And thank you for being here, guys. It was great to spend time with you and chat again. And as always, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It will really help the channel. And also, I do have a couple of spaces open for next week for one-to-one. So if you want to go deeper into anything that we've been talking about and maybe find some insights, connect with your intuition more, then send me an email and we can set up a discovery call, 15-minute call, to see if we actually can work together, if that's going to be helpful. So maybe there's something that you're finding hard to make a decision on. Let me know. But have a good day, guys. And yeah, peace, namaste.